Hi guys, this is Eggwick, and today I'm gonna teach you how to play Omen on Split. This video will include essential one-way smokes, great paranoia spots, and aggressive teleport setups. If you do enjoy this type of content or if you'd like to see more of this, please do consider subscribing and help me reach my goal of 100 subscribers. Okay, without further ado, let's get into it. Let's start off with a one-way into A main. You want to make sure that your smoke is deep enough into the ground where it aligns with the bottom part of the pocket. You also want to make sure that the arrow is red and that the smoke is covering parts of the entry.
Cover going out.
Alternatively, you can also play closer up, but the lineup for the smoke is a bit different. Instead of aligning the bottom part of the smoke with pocket, you just have to align it with around half and it should be okay. Don't forget that you also want the arrow to be red as you want the smoke inside the wall.
Shadows traveling.
This is what it looks like for someone pushing up A main. Next is a smoke for A ramps. You want to align it with the ledge and the first line and make sure that it's a red arrow. The first line might be a little hard to see at first, but if you look closely, it's pretty easy to spot.
Shadows traveling.
And this is what it looks like for someone pushing up ramps. Moving on, we have a one-way smoke for Ramen or for Sushi. All you have to do is line up your crosshair with this wooden plank and make sure that the arrow is sitting on top.
Shadows traveling.
And this is what it looks like from the enemy's perspective. It's impossible to see the guy in ropes without having to swing wide. The next smoke is a smoke for B main. You want to align your crosshair with this wooden plank and make sure that the green arrow sits on top. Additionally, the further out the shadow is, the better, because that means that your smoke will be coming out of the entrance more. The best spot to utilize this one-way smoke is in this pillar in sight. While you can play from backside, I don't prefer playing here, as it's not a true one-way unless you stand on top of these boxes. Next, we have a smoke for mid from B heaven. You want to place the blue ball on top of this dot over here. Make sure that the arrow is red and that the smoke is outside of mailroom.
Shadows traveling.
This is what it looks like for people pushing up mid. Next is a one-way smoke that I like to use on attacker side. This is a one-way for B stairs from mailroom, and you can do this as your team is pushing in. Similar to the A main one, you want to align the bottom part of the smoke with around half of the entrance. This is great because anyone playing B stairs will have a really hard time peeking into heaven, whereas you can see them. Next is a CT smoke that's really helpful in post-plant situations. You want to align the top of the blue ball with this line over here and place it slightly left of the doorway.
Shadows traveling.
And this is what it looks like for someone pushing into sight. Okay, that's it for all the one-ways on Split. Now let's move on to some great Paranoia spots. The first one is for A main, and it's great for setting up your teammates' aggressive push at the start of the round.
Blinding.
Next is a blind from A ramp into A main, and it's really good when the enemy team is rushing you. Next is a blind from screens into site. This can help set up your teammate in heaven or one that's pushing up from A main.
Blinding.
This mid line is great, especially when you've been smoked out, as it helps set up your player in mailroom.
Stealing sight.
If you're playing from B back, there's a great blind you can do that blinds the entirety of B garage or B main. Alternatively, you can also do this blind from site. You can use this blind to set up an aggressive push for a teammate to push into B garage. If you manage to sneak into this corner, you can blind mailroom and B stairs for your teammates pushing into heaven. Alternatively, you can also blind the entirety of B heaven from Ramen, but you'll have to stay back as your team pushes in.
Stealing sight.
While attacking the A site, if you manage to sneak into this corner, you can blind the entirety of site and elbow from this angle. You can change up where your blind goes depending on where you think the enemy is going to be. Okay, that's it for the great Paranoia spots on Split. Now let's move on to some teleport setups. Teleporting into ropes is a great way to catch your enemy off guard, especially if you get the timing right. Alternatively, you can use this corner as a mix-up if your enemy already expects you to teleport into ropes. Here's a double teleport setup that can be useful if the Sage Wall does not come up in mid. You can also teleport from ropes into mailroom to get out of sticky situations.
What's happening?
Teleporting into your smoke in A rafters is a great way to catch your enemies off guard, especially if there's a lot of things going on and they can't hear the sound of your teleport. You can teleport on top of this box here for a nice peek into sight, elbow, and screens. Teleporting across A ramps is a great way to get an unexpected angle on the enemy. You can teleport from screens into elbow, but make sure to use your blind to mask the sound of your teleport. One of my favorite things to do is to teleport from rafters onto box, as it's a great way to sneak up on people, especially if there's a lot going on.
Spike planted. One enemy remaining.
Teleporting from B back onto B site is a great way to get out of trouble and help you regroup with your team. Lastly, teleporting from B heaven into B stairs is a great way to avoid being seen by those playing in B site. Last but not the least, let's talk about how to use Omen's ultimate on Split. Teleporting into B back as your team pushes up B main can get you information and even a free kill. If there's someone playing in B back, they'll have to find and kill your shadow, giving your team the opportunity to trade off it. However, if there's no one, then it's a free entry into site. Teleporting into B stairs is really unexpected and can catch a lot of people off guard. Screens is a common place to teleport into, so you might want to be a little bit careful and try not to be too predictable. I personally don't like going to screens as I feel like a lot of people already anticipate you to go there. Instead, I like teleporting into sight because the sound range is out of heaven and you only have to worry about elbow. If you've made it this far into the video, I'd just like to say thank you for watching. If you have any comments or suggestions, I'd really love to hear them down below. And if you enjoy the content or if you want to see more, please do consider subscribing as it really helps out my channel a lot. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.